All right, the Detroit Lions are setting up for a huge draft trade, and we know a couple of things to be true. The Lions, the last 3 years in the first round, have moved up, down. They've been very aggressive. They've been kind of aggressive. Last 3 years in Brad Holmes' draft. So you look at it, Terrion Arnold moved up to get him. Jahmyr Gibbs, it was a trade back, and then still landed Gibbs at 12. And then here's the big one where we went all the way up to get Jameson Williams at 12 from 32. Remember, that was the Rams pick. We get Aiden Hutchinson with ours and then go all the way up and get Jameson Williams. So Brad Holmes moves around in the first round. We know that. And we also know the Lions are in win now mode. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell are never going to admit that it's a win now. They want to have a sustainable winner. But we all know we've got a window here. Luckily, I think we're on the front end of the window and we've got time. But we've been aggressive in the first round of the past. We're in a win now. So let's take a look at what that means when you look at making a trade. Here's what it looks like. So first things first, and this is from A to Z Sports, and I think it's perfect. The Lions have a very good reason for being so quiet. Trading up just seems like the way the Lions are going to go at this year with the way that their roster is constructed. They have the ability to get their guy. And that's another thing that we know to be true is we need a defensive end, and we have not addressed that. So the Lions, Shamar Stewart's been in. We know that the Lions want to be aggressive. Here they get the pick 11th, and they're going to give up pick 28th, 102, and their 2025 first-round pick. It's a lot, but they go and get Mykel Williams, Georgia, get their defensive end. So I think it's really shaping up for the Lions to say, we need a game-changing defensive end. And now, while the draft is really deep in defensive ends, which is great, it still feels like there's 3 that are really high-end. And then from there, you're hoping and wishing for the best. So let me show you that right here. Abdul Carter, of course, and don't really, have a chance at him. And then, obviously, Mike Green is kind of the next one off at 10. And so this trade put us up there at 11. So that's really possible. The video is brought to you by Thread. Here is the problem that Thread solves. You've got young kids, they're into sports. You're taking them to practice. You're taking them to games. You got all the right equipment. Life's good, but there's one problem. They're not getting the proper nutrition. Since it's so busy, you're running around. You don't want to go to fast food before the game. You don't want to do fast food after the game. Instead, get them the proper nutrition that's provided by Thread. It's got protein, collagen, daily greens. It helps with energy, recovery, and endurance. It's super easy to mix. It comes in delicious flavors, birthday cake, chocolate, vanilla, and the best part is it comes individually wrapped. So you can just take it with you on the go. It has a shaker. It's a simple daily routine that fuels performance, recovery, and endurance. If you're a parent, you can trust Thread because it's designed specifically for developing athletes, and it's used by emerging athletes nationwide to gain a competitive edge. Link is in the description to get 10% off. Use SportsTalk10, 10% off code, giving up to 30% off on bundles. Link is in the description. Use code SportsTalk10. And you can see, this is where it gets interesting to me, is all of the you've got quarterbacks, wide receivers, running back is even going higher than ever. Defense or tight end we don't need. So here's Mykel Williams falling in this one all the way to 29, right where the Lions would be. So you might not have to go up to get that guy. So there's a lot to take in, but it feels like the Lions are going to have an opportunity to be aggressive and go up and get somebody, and they're going to make it happened based on what we know to this point about what the Lions want to do, where they're at in their rebuild, not even a rebuild anymore, where they're at in their Super Bowl run. Like they want to, you think about it, just NFC Championship game, 1/2 away from getting there. And then last year, 15-2. 2 years ago went toe-to-toe with that Niners team that was just loaded 2 years ago. But then this year felt kind of dreamy, meaning it's like we got injuries all over. We're blitzing. Like the defense is not running correctly. And then it finally bit us against a team that operated efficiently. We turned the ball over, and that was it. So this is a team that's NFC Championship, 15 wins last year, only lost 2 games last year in the regular season. 2 games. Like, what is it? 11 and I can't do the math. Only lost 2 divisional games in the last 2 years. 1 or 2. I think it's just 1 or 2. Just really high level stuff. And the Lions have been very kind of modest this free agency period. We know that. That's fine. We're in great shape. Okay, let me go back here. Then the Lions in the next pick at 60th, drop back a couple picks, pick up another one, and they get an offensive tackle. I think offensive line is going to be really addressed in this draft because we have an aging offensive line. And we know when you have a good offensive line, life's good. When you have a bad offensive line, it's too hard. It's just too hard out there. So let me go back to that. And then Pat Bryant with the 130th pick. It's fine. Defensive edge from Boise State at 173, kind of a bigger edge setter type of guy. And then a tight end at 196. So this is like, I don't know, another one, linebacker from Buffalo to finish it out. So there's a lot of different ways. Of course, we know this, that the draft can go. But at the end of the day, we need a defensive end. Man, we need a defensive end. Probably seen the videos now. Aiden Hutchinson is running. Looks like he's going to be back. Just give him more and more and more time. Really proof, though, by the way, that he was never going to be back for the Super Bowl. Because I was like, that bummed me out when we lost. I was like, man, I was just picturing Aiden Hutchinson coming back. Crazy. You can see in his latest videos, it's like he's getting there for sure, but I mean, he has just got a ways to go, rehab the whole thing. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Talking about the Lions daily, and the draft's coming up, and that's that kind of kicks off the year. This is the free agency stuff is like, yeah, it can be exciting. Grab a guy. There's probably 4 or 5 guys that kind of move the needle. The rest is exciting, but you're kind of overpaying for guys. But the draft is like, all right, this is foundational stuff. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Follow us for the draft. We're going to be going live for the draft, so make sure round 1. Can't wait to hang out with everybody, and we'll see all of you on the next one.